I recently sat down and gave The Director and the Jedi a watch, which, if you don't know, is the exclusive behind-the-scenes documentary in the making of The Last Jedi. Despite what my feelings for The Last Jedi are, I really dug this documentary, especially being someone who has a TV production background. The best thing about it is that it really did remind me of the awesome behind-the-scenes documentary that was on the Phantom Menace DVD. So if that's something you enjoyed yourself, then I highly recommend giving The Director and the Jedi a gander when you got the time. Now, with that set aside, I did notice something quite evident and consistent throughout the documentary involving Mark Hamill. Practically every scene he's in, he's never smiling. He genuinely doesn't look happy at all, and it seems like he doesn't even want to be there. But then again, mind you, those are only the scenes of when he's with Rian Johnson. The only times you do get to see Hamill look happy is when he's off reminiscing stories from the original trilogy production. You know, the good old days. Or when he's meeting fans or interacting with anyone else but Rian Johnson. Now, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. We all know full well how much Hamill disliked and was against the direction Johnson decided to take Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Heck, that disagreement is constantly mentioned throughout the documentary. But then again, seeing that real behind-the-scenes footage of Hamill and Johnson during the film's production really shows just how pissed Hamill was at Johnson about the whole situation. Especially how funny the documentary transitions this at times, when Hamill looks all annoyed when he's with Rian Johnson, but immediately brightens up when he's talking to someone else soon after. I'm not sure if this was intentional by the editors of the documentary, but it's funny nonetheless. Of course, Hamill signed a contract and did as any professional should, and just did his job despite his personal feelings for it. Now, during the filming, we knew Hamill wasn't a fan of The Last Jedi or the sequel trilogy as a whole, yada yada. He made it painfully clear with interview after interview after interview. And heck, let's not forget about presentations too. And then of course, his tune about it all dramatically changed when the film was done, and by contractual obligation, he, along with the other film stars and Johnson, started doing their press tours to hype up the release of The Last Jedi. It was at this point when Hamill started saying how much he changed to like the movie and Luke Skywalker's portrayal in it. He even started to smile while being in the same room as Johnson too. However, the general consensus was that Disney had to sit down with him and told him to, stop. At least for The Last Jedi marketing campaign. Which perfectly makes sense, as his change of tune did take place before the movie release all the way to the press tours for The Last Jedi home DVD and Blu-ray release. But now that all of that has ended and Lucasfilm is now concentrating all their full efforts on the marketing campaign for Solo, Hamill's feelings have changed once again, and quite frankly, I'm not surprised at all to see that his enthusiasm for the sequel trilogy has diminished so quickly now that he's not forced to pretend in front of the cameras. Especially in a recent interview with ABC News, Hamill admitted that he can care less now about appearing in any more Star Wars movies after Luke's death in The Last Jedi, especially now that Carrie Fisher has passed away. You were asking me earlier, are you gonna come back? I don't care anymore on that level. Because Han Solo is gone, Luke is gone, Carrie's passing also really has tarnished my ability to enjoy it to its fullest. You just can't get the band back together the way you wanted it to be, and it shouldn't be that way. It is what it is. This interview comes only a week after Hamill publicly stated that he thought Luke Skywalker was merely a plot device in The Last Jedi, rather than a meaningful character. Not to mention, all of this just adds more questions on whether we'll get to see Hamill come back in Episode 9 as a Force ghost. Sure, he didn't like where The Last Jedi was heading, but at least he enjoyed being on the set with Fisher again, and that alone made it all worth it for him. Now forgone, and Han Solo and Luke Skywalker both dead in the sequel trilogy, Hamill seems like he could care less about returning. Not to mention if Lucasfilm and JJ Abrams even want him back, especially considering how much bad publicity he gave The Last Jedi during the film's production phase. And now that Hamill isn't forced to pretend to love Rian Johnson or The Last Jedi's decision for Luke Skywalker, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more comments from Hamill in the same vein as we did during the film's production. After all, at the end of the day, honesty is key, especially for us Star Wars fans during this time of divide in the fandom. This is N7 from Silo, signing off.
We can't know its name.
Oh yeah, the scene that dare not speak its name.
Yes, exactly. Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna make them sorry they ever came up with that idea.